Greetings and salutations to my fellow starlings. 'Tis I, Vi, the Abysmal Witch, and today we shall unlock the secret to happiness. We shall open up the veritable skies of possibility unto the joy that dwells within the depth of our hearts. Also, we're going to have squeaky windshield wipers periodically because I live in a rainforest, and today we're proving that. So, sorry, just sorry. But, you know, it was this or no recording this week, and I'm really trying not to miss. There was that one where I didn't post, so I had recorded. You know, so like missed, not missed, a bit questionable. At least I caught up on it. But yeah, here we are, November the 5th. Remember, the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten. I know I messed up the middle part. What can I say? I only learned it from a movie. Still, so very sorry about that. I know, probably need new windshield wipers, but there's just something about my world that causes windshield wipers to always be squeaky. And that could make me miserable. It could drag me down into an abyss of despair, of just, misery. And I think I've mentioned, though I'm not entirely sure, that I'm a bujo. I'm a bujoer. A bujode. I also, favorite author, Lois McMaster Bujold, B-U-J-O-L-D. So different than Bujo, B-U-J-O, for bullet journal, which is journaling. But still, favorite author. Oh, so good. And really making me think about different things in certain ways. So, we are here to not be miserable, right? Don't want to be miserable. Miserable sucks. But you know what? I've listened to too many podcasts and some books and audiobooks and such. Oh my God, I almost called them books on tape. Talk about dating myself. Yeah. Oops. That misery is kind of the human condition, or at least we're really good at picking out the specifics of misery and rather shit about doing that with feeling good. For example, I give you the body. Now, if I ask you where it hurts, and you're over 30, and definitely if you're over 40, I'm sure you're going, well, there's this, and there's that, and there's that, and there's this. That whole, we start to, not regenerate quite so well as we get older thing. Truth. But we're very good at pinpointing where pain hurts, where our body hurts. And, if you've ever stubbed your toe, right? Pain is an incredible focusing agent directly to the thing at hand. So, or in that case, and foot. We're very good at it because noticing discomfort, noticing pain, noticing things that disgust us, noticing that which scares us, all of these are evolutionarily helpful because don't eat the thing that disgusts you, it could kill you. Run away from the thing that scares you, it could kill you. Yeah, I could go on because pretty much all of it is because it could kill you. But we don't live in that world anymore. And so just as for those of us who are trauma survivors with habits and strategies of dealing with the world that came out of trauma that no longer serve quite so well because we're not living in that same environment wherein those sorry, just watched a person walk across the green light. Everybody gotta make their own choices in life, I guess. Yeah, there's probably some fun discussion around why we have rule of law and why we agree to these things. Honestly, it's to keep it so that we're all kind of moving forward and not getting in each other's way too much, right? So we are geared towards noticing that which is out of place, different, abnormal, and discomforting. Because, but if I asked you, where do you feel good in your body right now? Now, if you suffer from chronic pain, that can actually be a really horrible and hard question. But for most of us, there's it's not hurting. I guess it's good. I guess it's okay. My left elbow I guess, is doing pretty darn fine right now, because it's not saying boo to me. It's just kind of doing its thing. And that's how we are. Happiness is fleeting and all of that, because we are really good at dwelling in the negative. Again, evolutionarily advantageous. But we're not good necessarily dwelling in the happy, mind you, unless we got some happy fun drugs going with it, which is of course probably why so many of us fall to addiction to help us see us through life. It's just give me something to numb the pain and make me feel even temporarily good. Yeah, I'll buy into that, and I have bought into it. I totally get it, and sometimes it's what we need. Not judging. But sometimes, like those survival strategies from trauma that helped in one environment, they're not necessarily the best for long-term enjoyment, which is totally not the point of today's podcast. Today's podcast is about finding happiness. Well, in my bullet journaling, I have one chart that is a scale, 0 to, and it's now 13. 10 was just a little too squished because I was tracking 7 different things. It includes my sleep levels, my stress levels, my sobriety levels, if you will. Though I don't actually call it that, I call it my intoxicant levels, because sobriety is something very different for the most part in my perspective, so I wouldn't call it sobriety. And I'm on ADHD medication and anxiety medication, so it's not like I have nothing in my system anyway, and I know that, quite frankly. So there's those things. How much did I accomplish in a day? I also have been tracking my joy level, if you will, and I've been doing this for probably a couple of years now. And I'm going to sidetrack yet again on a related one. So when it came to accomplishment, I had the hardest time tracking that for reasons long term. That essentially, should I be noting, if my ideal level is this, like about an 8 on a scale of 10, whatever. Other things accomplished, because if I accomplish too much in a day, it's going to actually backfire on me, because I will have overused my resources myself, and then I will be paying for it later. So, there is too much, but also I get really annoyed if I do too little, because then the thing is moving forward. So there's a sweet zone and a preferred spot. But then I realized, what am I actually tracking here? Because am I tracking the volume of things done? Right? Like, is that scale of 0 to 10 a fixed model of how much? Well, that doesn't make sense, because how much I can handle on any given day shifts and changes. So perhaps better to go with how much I've accomplished in relation to what I am capable of accomplishing that day, which is or is it how much I intend to do that day? Do I meet it? Do I not meet it? Not the last one. That one I tried to ditch relatively early on, because my intentions and expectations are ludicrous. It's not realistic. I got ADHD brain on that one hard. Like, I can do all the things in a very short period of time. Can't I? No, I cannot. Now, doing it on a scale of what I can handle, much better, because there are days when I am tired and worn and I don't have to do anything, and simply doing a small amount, but it was the right amount for myself that day, and a little bit of what I'd planned and intended, and I mean a little bit in the sense of meeting up with, if that criteria was also graphed, all of these coalesced to about the same spot. And so I decided that on the scale of 0 to 10, with that 8 sweet spot, that 8 is me doing around 80% level of what I could have for the day, I guess, is a way to look at it. Never fully articulated it before, but here we go. And in what I do for the volume of stuff, that is the size of the dot, circle, etc., that I put on for that marking spot on the graph. Because this is all hand done anyways, right? I can do that. So maybe it was a really tough week, tough day. I'm not going to get a lot done, but I did do what I was capable of doing that day. Didn't hurt myself. I'm in the sweet zone. You know, the circle marking the level is going to be very, very small because not a lot was done. Versus a day where, holy cannoli, I did all the things. But you know what? I did not overdo it. As opposed to Sunday where I went for a 2-hour walk and then I worked out for almost an hour because I'm an idiot because I was feeling good and now I'm paying for it. Not that I blow past my own limitations on a regular basis or anything. So there's a lot of worth for me in really trying to keep what I do in a day within that sweet zone. So in that sweet zone, the size of the circle. So if I'm having one of those amazing days where I do all things, but I did not overwork myself, kudos to me, then the size, I'll still be on the same line because I'm still at that 80%, but the circle will be large, big circle, because I did so much that day because I was capable of it. So in that way, I still get to have a sense of how much was happening at the same time as I was evaluating whether or not, traffic moment. Must be a lunch hour or kids letting out. Maybe it's kindergarten letting out. Do you remember kindergarten? Where you had a blanket with your name on it. You had nap time. They actually put you down for a nap on a very uncomfortable floor. I mean, when we were kids, I guess things were different when I was a kid, but nap time, easy games, socialization. Those were the days. A little moment of nostalgia, which brings us a little bit back to happiness, which let me pull fully back into happiness. So that's how I've been tracking with accomplishment. Well, with happiness, I kind of face a similar conundrum or crisis of concept. And how am I going to handle this? What am I going to do with this? You know, where that is currently landed. And the reason for this particular episode is because for the longest time, I had like a 1, a 2, or 3. It was somewhere in that range where I was, because I color code the lines for what I'm aiming for. So every other line is a color. I have 7 colors in play. So yeah, you see how this goes. And encouraging, giving me a guideline as to kind of where I'm aiming for. I was not aiming for a lot in the way of happiness because I wasn't feeling a lot. A lot of depression going on. You don't feel the joy when you're feeling the depression. Everything's a black cloud. Look outside my window. Gray skies, nothing but gray skies. And then, I don't know, a couple months ago I went, meh. If I keep thinking of it being low and I keep marking it as low, then such low expectations. Don't I want to be happy? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to be happy. I'd like to feel the happy thing. Well, so I put it at the top. Remember, I had switched to a 0 to 13. So top of the line, 13. Therein is my joy line. Yeah, like, the Uber apps. I also do Dailyo, which is an app for tracking things on a daily basis, particularly in relation to mood. And it gives you a 5-point scale on how do you feel? Rad, good, meh, bad, or awful, or something like that. I forget the bottom two. Try not to counter those too often, ideally. And I think for several months there were 0 rads. Goods were a little hard to come by. And so how do I shift this? How do I switch this perspective? How does all of this pre-ramble tie into this answer? Well, let me tell you. So instead of going for an average on how I feel the day before, because I do my journaling first thing in the morning, so I have I get the joy of reflecting back to the previous day, which kind of blunts it in some fashion, you know, may make the bad's not so bad, but maybe the good's not so good. There may be a kind of a softening. It does distill down what you remember, which, could also be problematic. But that's neither here nor there, not the point of this. But I am reflecting to the day before. And was for the longest time kind of doing overall, I would give this, a C, C minus, a D, like I'm grading my emotional state. It was fine. It was fine. I was okay. I don't know if I've mentioned it here, but I heard it somewhere. I honestly don't remember where. Could have been a comedy TV show. It could have been a podcast. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm certain it was not my own thing first. But when people quickly downgrade, but occasionally upgrade their state, when you're like, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. I'm okay. Like, fast downgrade, or every once in a while. I have one person I know who does this actually semi-often, I think, where it's like, oh, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. It's like, upgrade. Nice. So when we evaluate, when you do that really quick glance back assessment, what are we feeling? Are we feeling the things that stick out, which, come on, let's face it, remember back, somatically, what do we notice about the things that stick out? If I go, how are you feeling in your body? What do you notice? You're probably, almost assuredly, going to tell me all the painful things that are going on before it occurs to you to notice good things, unless maybe you just had something absolutely delectable in your mouth and your belly, and you're still in that blissful state of, oh my god, the foods, in which case you might go to that blissful state, and that might be your first thought and acknowledgement. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure that most of us, most of the time, when you ask, hey, how's that feeling, how you doing, and we're gonna be like, I notice in my body all the this and the that and the that and the this that hurts. So when we look back, how was my day yesterday? Well, there were some good spots. There were spots that I did not enjoy, the frustrations, and there we go. I'm now ruminating and dwelling into the parts that were the hardest, the nastiest, the least enjoyable, etc., etc., etc. Well, that's not particularly good nor fun, nor helpful. So instead of going for the average, the mean, or even the median, I decided I would go with the best moment of the day that I could easily pull out. Like, I didn't have to drag it out of myself. That kind of violates the point of this. And not like a brief half blip of a second that, for 1 millisecond I experienced, a happy thought, but then instantly went away. No, like a true experience of a feeling where I can go, yeah, no, I felt that was real, that happened. Sorry, gotta do this merging thing across multiple lanes of traffic. You know how it is. In the rain. Always a little more stressful. Gotta pay attention. Way more traffic than you would think, too. How peculiar. So, when I look back to the day before, can I find what is the brightest spark, the greatest level of joy that I experienced that day? And that is what I record. That's what I put down on my journal. And wow, holy cannoli, I have days with good things in them all the fucking time. Like, every day has an amazing moment. Every day has a rad moment. Like, okay, I admit it does not hurt that I am on vacation right now. Maybe if I wasn't on vacation and I was a little extra work stressed, I'd be more good than rad. But I would still undoubtedly be good. I think, I doubt that it would all be all bad all the time, because I'm not looking for a perfect day or even a perfect moment. I'm just checking out, hey, so what was the best feeling, or the high, the greatest amount of yay or woohoo that I had yesterday? yesterday? You know, on a scale of 1 to Yahtzee, where was I yesterday? At any point. It would be like asking, you know, in your body, how much of you feels really great right now? You know, or how much of it doesn't hurt if you don't ever have anything that feels good because you suffer from too much chronic pain and you don't know how to tell the two things apart. You know, instead of how much of you, what's the percentage that feels okay? Which is not quite the same calculation, but a related concept to encourage a look away from the pain to, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm having a little left knee twitchiness and my right up top rib got more than a tad cranky, went out. Kind of wanted to stay out for quite some time. Did not obey curfew in the slightest. Well, that's okay. Because you know what? Stuff happens, adjusting a lot of things in my body, and that's what happens when you destabilize things to a better place. You go through some less than fun, funky parts. But if I had actually thought to ask myself, well, what percentage of my body is actually feeling okay? I'd have said, like, I don't know, probably 97, 98% of my body actually feels fine. Now, that 2% is kind of fucking miserable at certain points. The first day it went out, oh my god. I would have bumped that to like 5% maybe of the body because it was spreading around. It was no more than 5, and probably still more like 2 or 3. And just a really high level in that particular space. So I think it is worth considering how we're asking the question to get at what kind of data. Because I don't need to know that on average my happiness level is kind of meh from day to day. Because we're not actually built to be like, no, happy all the time. That's why we need to get drugs for that, or extreme spiritual experiences. Because that's just not the human way. Now, we can be content, we can be, you know, generally in a happy, perky place and kind of driving along through it, not letting things bury us down too much. But just plain old, gosh darn, I'm happy. There are a few people who probably do experience that, but that is not the normal. So, for those of the rest of us, what do? We change our perspective. Change the question that we're asking, change the way that we're measuring, and get to a realization that maybe you're like me and actually pretty much have a fantabulous moment every day. It's just a matter of noticing that they happen and jotting it down. Alright, with that, I'm going to go pay extra attention to the super rainy road. Much love, take care of yourself, and I shall see you anon. Let's be.